from England. Originally I'm Polish. I was born in Poland and ordained in Poland, and I've been working in England for 20 years. I was ordained exactly 24 years ago, this month in May. I live in Gosport. It's the town near Portsmouth, south of England. There's about 100,000 people. It's a beautiful parish by the sea, by the England Channel, and I've been there for about 5 years. I've been coming to Medjugorje since 1996, and I cannot now imagine my life as a priest without this place, without being close to my Mother Mary. My first time when I arrived, it was just after the war finished. It was about 3 weeks after the war finished. I was taken by a friend of mine who just grabbed me and asked me to go. I didn't know where I was going. I heard about Medjugorje at that time, but I wasn't a great fan of Medjugorje. And then I came out with a pain in my back. I wasn't very happy. I couldn't do anything. I hardly could walk. I really tried my best, but I just really was looking forward to go back home. And at some point one day she said, "I've got a taxi, let's go and let's do something. Let's go to the Kruševac." I said, "I cannot walk." So we tried Kruševac, I couldn't walk. And then I went to the Blue Cross. And then I said to her, "Can you wait? I will just try to kneel down with my pain in my back and pray." So I knelt down and I started praying. And then something happened. When I got back from my knees, I said, "Sorry, it probably took about 10-15 minutes, my prayer. Sorry for waiting." And she said to me, "You must be joking, Father. It wasn't 10 minutes, it were 3 hours. You were praying for 3 hours." I said, "I can't believe it." I didn't feel anything, I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything. It was the pure contemplative prayer, beautiful, something just heart to heart. And that was, I think, the beginning of my experience with Our Lady. And since then I was coming, and it was a year that I didn't come, but a big change in my life as a priest. It was in 2004. I became a parish priest in Jersey. It's the Channel Islands, and were just newly appointed by the bishop. And after, I think, about 2 or 3 months after my new appointment, I was asked to go and visit a boy who was in hospital. He was 12 or 13 years old. I didn't know anything about him at that time, but I know now he was ill for about 7 years. He was involved in the car accidents, and seizures developed. He couldn't go to school, and he was going from seizure to seizure and more frequent, and he was taking lots of tablets, about 30 big tablets every day, and couldn't go to school. He was in hospital all the time. He was airlifted twice to London. Apparently he died on the flight to London. He was looked after by the best doctors and professors from Europe, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. I witnessed one of the seizures. It was absolutely horrible, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I know from his mom that he had only maybe a year left, because his heart was very weak because of the tablets, of the seizures, violence. And he was getting older. He was about in his 13th or 14th, and I was asked to see him in hospital. So I went to see him. I gave him the anointing, and I prayed with him. And I said, "God, if I only could help him." So I left him, and I know it was, as soon as I left, and he went into a massive seizure again. And I was organizing pilgrimage to Medjugorje, first ever from Jersey. People didn't know about Medjugorje. They were just saying to me, "Where are you going, Father? Is it Medji or something magic?" I said, "No, it's Medjugorje." "Oh, where is that? In Poland?" I said, "No, it's not in Poland. It's in Bosnia." So I organized about 15 people, and it gave me an excuse to go. And all of a sudden, at some point one Sunday, I was just traveling from one of my churches. And instead of turning left, which was taking me to my presbytery, I turned by mistake, or not, I turned to the right. And I was driving, just about to turn around, and I said, oh, let's go and see that boy. And then all of a sudden, it just dawned on me, an idea to offer my pilgrimage for him, to pray for him in Medjugorje. So I went to their home and I said, I asked his parents, can I have a word with him? He was just in between seizures. He was pale, white, he looking very, very bad. And I went, when I went there, I said, can I have a word with you? And he said, okay. So I talked to him and I said, listen, I'm going to offer my prayers for healing. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know in my heart it's the only way forward. So, but I need you to pray, because he couldn't travel anywhere. He couldn't be on the bus, even to school. He was so ill. And I said, I will go to Medjugorje. You stay here in Jersey, and I will pray. We just will create a bridge, spiritual bridge. You pray as much as you can, and with your parents, and I will be praying for you in Medjugorje. And it was the first time when I went to Medjugorje, I prayed in my life with open heart. I never ever prayed as a priest so hard. I offered my prayers every single Mass. I was concelebrating, I was celebrating every single Mass I could for him. I did the Crucifix, and when it was 2 p.m., it was 40 degrees hot. And I said, I offer all my sweat, everything for him. I was fasted, I was praying every single rosary. I asked my pilgrims to pray for him. And in my pocket here, I had a little picture of him. And I said, just close to my heart. And I said, I will carry him around in Medjugorje. So when I was praying, I was doing my best. But believing that God can do something, at least to help them, the family. Because his illness ruined his family life. And his mother had to give up her very well-paid job to be with him 24/7. And then what happened, it was the 21st of May, and it was the apparition on the apparition hill, and Ivan was there. And I just sat behind the cross. And when Our Lady came, I was holding the picture of him, like a little schoolboy. I said, these words, I said, Our Lady, as a priest, I've done everything I could. Now you do it. You can do it. And I was coming back. I received a message, one after another, on my mobile phone, that something happened. The messages kept coming all night. I didn't know really what happened at that time, but I knew that something happened. So just before going back home, I decided to climb the mountain again, and I prayed to Father Slavko. I said, Father Slavko, look after him. And when I climbed to the mountain, when Father Slavko dropped dead, there was a pile of stones, and I buried this that picture under the stones, and I said, Father Slavko, I'm leaving him with you. And it was a funny feeling, because I was just walking down the hill, and at some point I wanted to turn back and take the picture back. And I said, I felt just like abandoning him and just say, it was just a piece of paper, a picture, but it was so hard to leave him down there. I said, I have to leave him. I have to leave this picture. It was silly, I know, but it was like a father leaving his son somewhere. But I said, I have to go. So when I came back home, they told me really what happened on that very day, 21st of May. And on the 21st of May, when I was praying at 10 o'clock with Mary, when I was holding that picture, he was praying in Jersey. And it was a beautiful evening in Jersey. And he lit 10 candles. on the table, and he was praying. Whatever he was praying, it was very calm and beautiful evening, quite unusual, because normally it's very windy. And when we were praying, he was praying exactly at 10 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock in England. These candles went out in sequence, one after another. And when the last candle went out, he was completely healed. At that point, we didn't know. We were waiting for seizures. But the seizure didn't come. Absolutely, I couldn't believe. We were waiting for a week. He was still taking the tablets. And the seizure didn't come for a week. There was no seizures for a second week, a month. We were very happy, but still waiting for one. For 2 months, 3 months, nothing happened. And the parents decided to take him to the doctors. There were a lot of doctors who looked after him. And they said, we want you to take him off the tablets. It took a couple of months for him to stop taking these horrible tablets. And then when he stopped about November, it's all finished, then I think his body was very poisoned by these chemicals. He started growing, eating, changing his face from pale to nice and colored. And we knew that something really happened. And I decided to take him to Medjugorje for the anniversary of his healing. We called it, his birthday, his spiritual birth, his second life. And I organized just pilgrimage. I took him with people. He was 14. He came here with me, and believe me or not, I was asked, without any arrangements, to be a chief celebrant on the 21st of May. I was quite surprised. I didn't know what to say, because it's so difficult to do this in 10 minutes, to say the whole story. Maximum 15 minutes. The church was packed. I was shaking like a jellyfish in the sacristy, and didn't know what the gospel was about. I said, God, it's all yours. I only knew that I had to go to the testimony. He was there, the group was singing. So I was celebrating the Mass, I read the Gospel, and believe me or not, the words in the Gospel were, nothing is impossible to God if you believe. And that really hit me so much. It was incredible. When I finished, and it was absolutely silence, people were crying, I was crying, and he came up to me and he gave me a big hug. He couldn't say a word. I asked him to say something. He couldn't say a word. And he gave me a big hug. And that was the beginning of the amazing conversion in my life. I rediscovered Medjugorje again. I rediscovered my priesthood again, and my faith, and the role of the Holy Mother in my life. Years after, he is now 22, as a beautiful, handsome young man, and he's studying for priesthood. This year he's going to start his 3rd year in the seminary. So please God, maybe if God will allow me to be alive and he will survive seminary, I will be in Medjugorje with him to celebrate Mass together. But it's all in God's hands. I don't know. But that was the beginning, 2004, of this amazing journey. For him, for me, for his family. I know when I was living in Jersey, I set up a house, it's called Oasis of Peace, right in the heart of the island. and now is run by his parents. His parents living there, running the powerful place, Oasis of Peace. And his dad is going to be ordained permanent deacon next month, 2013. So his dad will be a permanent deacon. And Colum, please God, will become a priest in 2017. But we have to pray, we have to trust. And I know that he has the message. He has the message for the whole world. And I know that Our Lady will use him. So whatever happened in 2004, it happened for a reason. Not just for me, not just for him. As I said, that was the beginning of my conversion. Since then I've been coming every year, a couple of times a year, as much as I could, as many times as I could, but since then I rediscovered my life. I'm an exorcist in the diocese. I fight with the devil, and I know how much he hates me. One of the greatest weapons against him is Our Lady. He hates her. I meet people, lay people, priests, nuns. We are not free from the influence, oppression, or even possession of the devil. Many of us are completely unaware, drugged, seeing psychiatrists, psychologists, counseling, but sometimes the solution is very simple. I had people who come to visit me after years of treatments, and 3 hours of prayer freed them completely and changed their life. But I know this is the power of Our Lady. It's her power, it's her intercession and prayer. About 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, when I came to Medjugorje, I was celebrating the Mass in Divine Mercy Church and was praying over people. And it was a young girl, she was 12, and she suffered. I didn't know at that time, she suffered a lot. And she was a birth disease. The muscles were just shrinking and deteriorating. But it's not important. When she came up, I was praying over her. When I laid my hands over her, she started very wobbly. But I wanted to move on because there were a lot of people waiting. The time was running out. It was a very hot day, afternoon in Medjugorje. And I couldn't. I was just praying and praying. Finally, when I stopped, I moved on. I was praying over people. Very next day, I was climbing the Kruzovac. And when we were on the top of the Kruzovac, someone just asked me, "Father, there's a young girl who wants to talk to you." So it was her, and I was Courtney. She was a very, very shy girl, and she said, "Father, I want to talk to you about something." And she was very, very shy. I said, "Not now, let's go back to Medjugorje." And then she said, "Father, yesterday when you praying over me, I saw you coming up towards me, and everything went just pitch black. And all of a sudden," she said, "I saw a guy." That's what she said. "I saw a guy coming towards me." I said, "What kind of guy?" I said, "He was just coming out of this darkness with a ginger beard and a beautiful, beautiful shining robe and the sash." And she said to me, "And it was a bird flying around his head." I said, "What kind of bird?" And she said, "I don't know, but it was like a dove, very shining golden dove." I said, "Do you think it was Jesus?" And she said, "I think it was Jesus, I don't know." And then she said to me, "I saw his heart, and the heart was beating. I saw the heart moving in here, and just beating hard." And then I said, "What's happened next?" And she said to me, "Well, I saw a lady in black. In my stupidity, I thought it was the devil." And she said, "No, no, no. The lady, she looked like that nun from the picture." I said, "Oh, Sister Faustina." She said, "Yes, maybe. She was a nun." And she said, what's happened next? And she said, oh, Jesus told me these words. And exactly words were, believe in me, never break away. Incredible, because she repeated these words. She wasn't very religious. She didn't know a lot about religion or this stuff. But she said, that the man said to me, believe in me, never break away. And then he disappeared and I saw you again. So that's probably was the moment when I couldn't move on for some reason. And then she said to me, I'm on the top of the crucifix and I can walk again. I was completely healed by the Lord. Beautiful. I just couldn't believe it. And she's now 15, 16. She couldn't come this time with me because she's doing her exams. But since then, she's been absolutely fine. She plays football and she goes all around and she's an amazing devotion to Divine Mercy. She reads the diary of Sister Faustina diary and she prays. Her parents are here with me, her family. So I know now the power of prayer. Nothing is impossible to God if you believe. I know lots of other things happen, but those two are the very big testimonies where they are deeply in my heart. And it's not just for them, it's not just for me. For people who lost their hope, faith, lots of them in England, in my native Poland, in America, wherever in the world. People who doubt, priests who have lost their faith, religious who do not believe anymore. People who are lukewarm. For those people, I'm just sending this message. Believe in Jesus and never break away. Just come back to Him. Just have faith. You don't need to come to Medjugorje. Lots of people cannot afford at the moment. But Colum didn't come to Medjugorje when he was healed. But Our Lady is everywhere. And she can help you when you pray the Rosary. And since the healing of Colum, I never been a Rosary man. As a priest before that, I was saying Rosaries, but from time to time. It was a very boring, long prayers for me, as I don't need Rosary to be a priest. But now I say the Rosary every day. And since this healing, I never ever missed a day without the Rosary. Even when I was ill, and I remember having a flu and high temperature, fever, I still prayed my Rosary. And I'm so happy that the Lord changed my life, and I rediscovered my priesthood so much here in Medjugorje. So now I'm here, I'm praying still, and the Lord still does the job. And I pray for those people who come to see me, those people who need healing, who need prayer, deliverance, or worse. But I know the devil is at work. But I do not fear anymore, because I know that Our Lady is with me. 3 years ago I did the consecration, total consecration of Saint Louis de Montfort, which I recommend to everyone. I'm just now in Medjugorje, now trying to renew this consecration. It's a 33 days of preparation. I do recommend to everyone the true devotion, consecration to Our Lady, and through Our Lady to Jesus. And I've did it, and I'm doing again, renew every single year. But I know that she is with me, and I totally belong to Him, and through Mary. So may God bless you, and if you listen to this, it's a complete truth. And pray for me, and I will pray for you, for all these conversions, for all these hearts which are still maybe far away from God, or doing just the outside things, the religious things, but not with the heart still far away from the Lord. Open your heart, believe, and love God above all. And it's the only way to God is through her mother, through Mary, to become a total slave of Mary, and then she will take you to Jesus. Is the shortest, is the best way, is to get to Jesus through Mary. The devil will hate you, he will kick you, he will do everything you to stop. But do not be afraid, because nothing is impossible to God, as I said. That was the gospel. Nothing is impossible to God if you believe. God bless you all, and pray for me, and I remember you in my prayer. May the Lord be blessed in His Mother Mary in Medjugorje. God bless.